How to get rich as a lawyer. How is that possible? And how the new rich are using these two key principles to get rich in 2022 and beyond. Hi, legal funnel members. Hope you guys are doing well. All right, what I'm about to share with you is a little excerpt from our legal funnel inner circle, which is what an inner circle is. It's a group of us lawyers meeting and having a top kind of high level thinking together, where we think about life, where we think about how we can grow and automate our law firm. And inside of our inner circle, I shared one of my favorite business videos I've ever seen, where there is a very successful entrepreneur who's sold his company for $200 million, does a little commentary about a Twitter little sequence. And I basically do a commentary on that. It's kind of hard to explain, but so we'll just go straight to the video. And what this is, I think, has a secret sauce. There's a lot of epiphanies and a lot of secret sauces about how to become rich as a lawyer in 2022. And these are philosophies and epiphanies that I had just from this video that I'm going to be sharing with you. So make sure to pay attention, and let's see if you get those epiphanies. And also at the end of the video, I shared 3 practical questions you can ask yourself and that you can also apply for yourself to help you to become a rich lawyer. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the video.
Making money.
This guy, by the way, is the guy who created Twitch, essentially what turned out to be Twitch. He sold his company for like $200 million when he was like 28 years old. So very successful guy, and now he's just like a YouTuber and just puts out content. And he basically his big thing is like money doesn't make you successful. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It's about finding your life purpose and all that stuff. And he's a startup genius and a business genius. And what he's doing is he's sharing. I'm not sure whether you guys know this guy named Naval. He's like one of the brightest minds in the world. Very deep thinker. He's amazing. And so he's sharing a very popular tweet that he shared, and he's giving his commentary, but there's very good insights about how to make money and how to, just watch it.
That's great. And it opens up a lot of opportunities. Let's not deny that, but it's not the purpose of being a human being.
How's it going? I'm Justin Khan from Justin.tv.
All right, here we go from Naval. How to get rich without getting lucky. Might be the all-time greatest tech tweet storm. 61,400 retweets. That's a lot. The like counter just went up. This is a 3-year-old tweet, and the like counter just went up while I've been watching it. So how to get rich without getting lucky. It's what everyone wants to know in America, right? They want to know how to get paid, and they want to know systematically how to do it, because sometimes people get lucky and then they try to say that that's like they planned it all along, but they really got lucky. To be honest, I think everybody who is rich, there was some component of luck. I mean, you might be just lucky to be born in America, right? And it's important to recognize that. For me, I was lucky to even be in the right place at the right time, where I could learn how to program, or be educated by my parents, or get to Silicon Valley, at this place where there was an inflection point happening. So you got to recognize that luck is going to play into every person's success story, and you can't optimize for luck. So if you're out there saying, oh, well, he just got lucky, so I'm not lucky, so I'm not going to do it. Well, you can make all the other factors, like your decision making, how you approach figuring out what to work on. All those things are under your control. And so, while luck is a part of it, there's also a part that's not luck. And that's the part you should focus on optimizing. All right, so labor means people working for you. It's the oldest and most fought over form of leverage. It's going to impress your parents, but don't waste your life chasing it. What's he mean? There's all these high prestige jobs like doctor, lawyer, engineer, etc., where basically you are a form of labor, and you might get paid a very high hourly rate, but you won't have leverage because it's just based on your time. Like if you want to earn your $1,000 an hour rate, you got to work 1 hour, right?
This is working hourly. Basically, don't work hourly as an employee or even as an employer, but as an employer, you're still working hourly.
Like capital,
you can't get rich that way.
This is where it's at. This is what Naval's saying here. Capital and labor are permission leverage. Everyone's chasing capital, but someone has to give it to you. Everyone's trying to leave it. Someone has to follow you. So what does that mean? Well, even if you have capital, you don't have leverage unless you find ways to deploy it. And that involves people, opting in to like working in your business, etc. Code and media are permissionless leverage. They're leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. So
okay, so this part was like the first epiphany.
Find ways to deploy it, and that involves people, opting in to like working in your business, etc.
Code and media are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. What this means is code, like technology, and media, which is essentially videos and pictures and social media, is the best way to become considered that's the new rich. That's the only way to build wealth in the current where we are in our generation. And those two things enable you to, it works for you while you sleep.
And media are permissionless leverage. They're leverage behind the newly rich. You can create software and media that works for you while you sleep. So what does that mean? Well, some of the most valuable companies in the world are technology companies, right? And media companies. And why are they so valuable? You create it once, it scales infinitely, right? So if media, you create, like, I'm going to create this YouTube video and then people watch it on YouTube, and, you know, it doesn't cost anything for more and more people to watch it. Imagine I had to have those conversations one-on-one with people. Like, I have way more leverage than I could.
Scalable, create a video once, so everybody can watch it. You create a funnel once, so everybody can just go through it.
My own time.
You meeting clients in person or doing things one-to-one interactions.
Same is true of code, right? You write a piece of software, you roll it out, like millions of people can use it. And you don't need anyone's permission, just put it on the internet and then the market decides for itself. An army of robots is freely available. It's packed into data centers and right. So like basically the internet is a robot army that will work for you. If you can't code, write books and blogs, record videos and podcasts. Basically, like, you know, your media is your leverage. If you can't code, media is your leverage.
So there's only two ways. Again, code or media. Well, if you can't code, you're not techie, whatever, then get into just content, create content, make videos or write articles.
Record videos and podcasts. Basically, like, you know, your media is your leverage. If you can't code, media is your leverage. Leverage is a force multiplier for your judgment. Basically, if you make right decisions, have good judgment on what people want, then your leverage from media or, you know, capital or code or whatever multiplies your effect. Judgment requires experience, but can be built faster by learning foundational skills. So this is interesting because a lot of people think judgment requires experience, right? Like they want to invest in experience. Basically, what Naval is saying is, like, you got to learn to do things yourself. If you learn to do things yourself, that's like the fastest way to understand the world. And I found that to be true. Like when I was just starting off, we were building Kiko, my very first company. We got in there, programmed it all ourselves, and really understood what the possibilities were, right? And especially with complex applications on the web. This was back in 2006. And that allowed us to create Twitch because we had the experience of understanding web applications, how they could be built, what was possible with technology, which gave us the judgment to create this new form of social app. There's no skill called business. Avoid business magazines and business classes. 100% agree with that. Business, you know, it's really a intersectional skill set that involves psychology and marketing. It involves engineering, it involves finance. It's combining all of these different skills. And the way you learn it is by diving in and doing it. Okay, study microeconomics, game theory, psychology, persuasion, ethics, mathematics, and computers. Yeah, basically what I said. Reading is faster than listening. Doing is faster than watching. Reading
is faster than listening. Okay, so reading is better than listening, and then doing is better than watching. Instead of like spending so much time, just better to go. Instead of like learning about YouTube, just go create YouTube videos.
Computers. Yeah, basically what I said. Reading is faster than listening. Doing is faster than watching. Doing is faster than watching. Yes, you're out there probably watching my YouTube video because you want some sort of edge in your career or business, startup, whatever, which is great, you know. But like the best thing to do is not watch my videos, is get out there and do stuff. All right, you should be too busy to do coffee while keeping that uncluttered.
Brandon, it's for you. Stop doing coffee.
Yeah, it is.
If you are really working on your thing, you should focus on your thing and like don't worry about casual networking, right? You want to have a goal, shoot towards your goal. Set and enforce an aspirational personal hour.
Like, it happens to me all the time, every single, especially morning time. I'm like got so many things going on, and I got a text, "Hey Sam, I need to talk to you." And I'm like, about what? Something. About what? Legal. What about legal? Oh, a legal question. I'm like, oh, I'm not a lawyer. Like, I don't do legal stuff. And then he's like, no, you gotta call me. I'm like, no, sorry. Like, literally, kids, you gotta be in control of your own life. Like, don't let people control you. And sometimes it comes off mean, or maybe it is mean, but it's better to be mean than let somebody else control your life.
Rate. If fixing a problem will save you less than your hourly rate, ignore it. If outsourcing a task will cost less than your hourly rate, outsource it. This is cool. This is a good idea.
Yeah, this is set and enforce an inspirational personal hourly rates, which is one of the topics that I would kind of want to do with you guys. If fixing a problem will save less than your hourly rate, ignore it. If outsourcing a task will cost less than your hourly rate, outsource it. So this is what comes down to first figuring out our hourly rate, and then asking ourselves, this thing that I need to get done, if I just hire somebody, how much does that cost? And let me just go hire. So even my hourly rate is $200. Even if this guy cost me $60 an hour, that I'm still saving $140 an hour.
Cost less than your hourly rate, outsource it. So this is a good idea because it puts you in the context of saying, hey, what can I outsource to someone else? And so I can focus on whatever's most important and most impactful to me. The point of this conversation is like how to get rich, which is interesting because a lot of people want it. But I would, and this is true if you're trying to get rich and have the most leverage, this is true. Eventually you do get rich and then you're like, well, maybe having my maximum hourly rate is not the most important thing. And what I'd love to do is cook a meal for my family because it gives me great joy. That's tangential, orthogonal to money. For a certain segment of people and certain mental headspace, you're trying to get rich. So let's go. You're not going to do that. You're going to outsource it, right? Work as hard as you can, even though who you work with and what you work on are more important than how you work. That's super. Work as hard as you can.
Work as hard as you can, even though who you work with and what you work on are more important than how hard you work, which is huge, which I think, Shoshan, I want to hand this off to you because you have no idea how valuable it is to be work with me and Hamid, all these people that care about you and give you the infrastructure for things to happen around you. It's not just the what, it's the who you work with and where you're heading also. Yeah.
And even though who you work with and what you work on are more important than how you work, that's super, super true. What you work on and who you work with are more important than how hard you work, right? You could have worked on Ethereum and worked not very hard, but bought at the right time, probably been super rich. But hard work is important because when you have no skills, hard work is all you have. It's the only leverage you have. Become the best in the world at what you do. Keep redefining what you do until this is true. I think this one really resonates with me because for me, I've always wanted to be the best, but I haven't been, for sure. When we started off and I was programming, I was far, far from the best programmer. I probably wasn't even the top 2 quartiles, to be honest. And then, as an entrepreneur, was I, the best in the world? No, for sure. I wasn't focused enough. I probably wasn't as smart as other people, not as strategic. So even though we were successful, I have friends, Dropbox, Airbnb, Coinbase, much more successful than me. But, I've kind of redefined what I do even further to be like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur that creates content and invests. And I have created an intersection where I probably am like, after Gary, Dan, like one of the best. Like it's, I've constantly figured out what is my edge, what am I excited about, what's my passion, and narrowed until I really found it. There are no get rich quick schemes. There's just someone else getting rich off of you. This has been covered a lot, especially recently. Go to CoffeeZilla's YouTube and you'll see a ton of people who are trying to get rich off of you. When you're finally wealthy, you'll realize it wasn't what you were seeking in the first place, but that's for another day. I mean, that's basically what my whole story is about. The quest pie first place.
That's a good one. I love that one too. When you're finally wealthy, you realize that it wasn't what you were seeking in the first place.
That's for another day. I mean, that's basically what my whole story is about. The Quest podcast is about. This YouTube channel is about. It's like making money. That's great. And it opens up a lot of opportunities. Let's not deny that, but it's not the purpose of being a human being.
That I also strongly believe with. It's like one of my core beliefs that it's not all about money at all. Like we're all chasing our own tail. That's why I'm like have a spiritual side and like a deep side to me. I'm all about that. It's like life is not about money at all. And I feel like the US is like, it's all, it's a capitalist country. Everything about life is about money. And every time I go to Israel, like it's the opposite of that, where you realize it's not about money. And the people are there and are not about money. They're just, being good. They're just genuinely happy, even with not that much money. And every time I step away from America, I keep seeing them what is this like chasing your own tail endlessly? What is it for? What for? None of that matters. So that's why I think my definition of success right now with our law firm, I think is honestly doing what you're love and what you're great at. That's my definition of success. So yeah, for you guys, I was being conscious of that. It's not, it's just, you have to be comfortable, obviously, and make sure you're making enough so you're not stressed out, but that's not the only goal. So good. I hope you guys learn some valuable stuff from that. I think 3 big lessons, and I want you guys to do this right now, first is to complete the sentence for yourself. One is, I'm the best what? I'm the best what? So think about that right now. For example, just to give you guys some ideas, Brandon's is, I'm the best sports lawyer, expungement lawyer, or whatever that is. Complete that, write it out. And there'll be definitely one of those things I print out big and I put it right in front of me. I have that confidence. I have that clarity and vision that I'm the best, this type of lawyer in this state or whatever that is. Write that out. Second is something hopefully that you guys have been learning from me from day one is to value your time. Know the value of your time. Make that the most important thing, part of your life, and get other people to help you. The third thing is the epiphany that I came up with is focus on tech or media to create the best leverage for your law firm. There's no better leverage. Leverage is like doing something minimal for the most output. So there's no better, bigger leverage in any business more than technology and media, which is basically content. So pick one of those and make that a big central theme of your life for 2020. For me, I'm trying to incorporate both. With the media, it's been the YouTube videos, 30 days of, I'm trying to do 30 days of YouTube. And I've been sticking to it, and I know I'm going to do it. That's going to be a big help. And tech, my mentor has two softwares built out for lawyers, but now I have to go finish it off and launch it off for him. So think about yourself. How can I take advantage of that? Also, tech could be, using more tools. David, for you, a big game changer would be using A-Text to